Every few days, someone dumps a scoop of used coffee grounds at the base of a pepper plant, patting the soil down like it's some secret weapon. It's one of the most repeated tips in gardening, and almost nobody checks if it's true. I went and dug into what actually happens when coffee grounds hit that soil, and the answer splits right down the middle. Used one way, it chokes a pepper plant's roots. Used another way, it gives a small boost. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which side of that line you're on. I did the dry scoop version myself years back, straight from the pot onto the soil, figuring more was better. Within 3 weeks, the surface had crusted over and the plant just sat there, not growing an inch. Turns out the way most people do this doesn't just fail to help, it works against the plant. There's one small change that flips it into something the plant can use. Stick around for that part. Scroll through the comments under any coffee grounds video and you'll find two camps arguing past each other. One side is convinced their peppers took off the moment they started dumping grounds at the base. The other side says it did nothing, or worse, that the plant looked rougher after a few weeks of it. Someone almost always shows up calling the whole idea made up. Both camps are describing what happened in their own backyard. That's what makes this different from most gardening myths, where one side is usually just wrong. Both outcomes happen on ordinary peppers in ordinary backyards from people who would all say they're doing the same thing. Which means the real question isn't whether coffee grounds work. It's why the same jar and the same good intentions can help one backyard and quietly work against another. Once you see what's actually different between those two setups, it has less to do with the coffee than you'd think. The instinct isn't wrong on the nutrient side. Coffee beans are seeds, and seeds carry stored nutrients inside them to fuel their own growth. Coffee grounds do contain nitrogen, along with small amounts of potassium and magnesium, the same nutrients showing up on half the bagged fertilizer labels at the garden center. So the logic holds together on paper. Free nitrogen already in the house, going onto a plant that needs it. Why pay for a bag of something you're already brewing every morning? That seed argument deserves a fair hearing because it's not made up. Seeds really do carry compounds meant to fuel sprouting. But whether that package survives roasting, brewing, and sitting dry in a jar for a few days, in a form a pepper's roots can use, is a different question than whether the nutrients existed in the raw bean to begin with. Here's what I've come to believe after going back and forth on this longer than I want to admit. Coffee grounds were never the fertilizer. They're the raw material. And the second you treat a raw material like it's the finished product, you've made a mistake that has nothing to do with coffee at all. It's the same mistake as eating flour and wondering why you're not full. That's the divide right there. Some jars of grounds end up closer to something a plant can use. Others don't, without the person doing it ever changing a single ingredient. The difference between those two jars is what's about to go wrong or right underground. When I went digging into the research on this instead of repeating what everyone else says, the picture got a lot less friendly. Grounds straight from the pot haven't broken down yet. The nitrogen inside them is locked in a form the plant can't use directly. Something else has to break it down first, and that something is soil microbes, the same organisms that turn a compost pile into usable dirt over time. Those microbes need nitrogen themselves to do that work. So in the short term, freshly dumped grounds don't feed the plant at all. They pull nitrogen away from it instead, competing for the same resource while the grounds slowly decompose. Nobody mentions that part when they're filming themselves sprinkling a scoop into the dirt. On top of that, dry grounds packed onto the surface behave almost like a lid. Water stops soaking in evenly. Air stops moving through that top layer of soil the way roots need it to. That's exactly what happened to mine. Crusted, hard, water running off instead of soaking down. And in more than one study I found on this, plants given straight coffee grounds this way didn't just fail to improve, they grew worse than plants that got nothing added at all. That's the trap. It doesn't look like it's hurting anything at first. The plant doesn't wilt overnight. It just quietly stops making the progress it should be making, and most people never connect the dots back to the jar by the coffee maker. None of that means coffee grounds are useless, and it doesn't mean everyone doing this wrong is doing the exact same amount of wrong. The fix turns out to be smaller and more specific than you'd expect. This is the part that explains the split in the comments. It was never just about coffee grounds working or not working. It's about how much and how often. Someone sprinkling a teaspoon of dry grounds into the soil once a month barely registers with the plant either way, because there's not enough there to tie up much nitrogen at all. The people who ran into trouble were usually doing it every time they watered, a full scoop, week after week. That's enough to crust the surface and lock up nitrogen the plant needed. Dose and frequency mattered almost as much as the form the coffee was in. Start with grounds that have been dried out completely, not straight from a wet filter. About 2 tablespoons of those dried grounds go into a jar with roughly a liter of warm water, comfortable to the touch, nowhere near boiling. That sits for about 24 hours, giving the water time to pull the soluble nutrients out of the grounds instead of asking the soil to do that work slowly over weeks on its own. After 24 hours, the mixture gets strained through a clean cloth so none of the solid grounds make it into the watering can. What's left is a light brewed liquid, closer to a weak tea than a fertilizer. That liquid goes onto the soil around the base of the plant, never on the leaves, and only once every 2 to 4 weeks. The difference is what's available to the roots. Instead of asking microbes to slowly break down solid ground sitting on top of the soil while competing with the plant the whole time, the nutrients are already dissolved and ready before the water reaches the root zone. It's the same coffee. It's just no longer raw, and it's no longer guesswork about how much is too much. What's your pepper's biggest struggle this season? Drop it below. I read every comment. If you've already been doing the dry scoop version all season, the fix starts by stopping, not by adding more on top of what's already there. Rake off anything caked on the surface, loosen that top inch of soil so water and air can move through it again, and give the plant a normal watering with nothing added for a week or 2 before starting the liquid version. For anyone growing peppers in containers on a patio instead of a bed in the ground, the same liquid method works, just go lighter on it. A container holds a lot less soil overall, which means a lot less room to dilute anything that's out of balance. Half the usual amount, same 4-week spacing, is the safer place to start until you see how the plant responds. None of this requires buying anything new. It's still the same coffee grounds most households are already producing every morning. Took me embarrassingly long to realize the fix was that simple, mostly because I figured the answer had to be more complicated than a strainer and a day of patience. If you're growing peppers in containers and want the full feeding system instead of piecing it together video by video, that's what I laid out in the guide on the site. Get this right, and the change isn't dramatic, and I'd rather say that straight than promise something bigger than what happens. Over 3 or 4 weeks, peppers getting the diluted version tend to hold denser, greener foliage, and you'll usually see more new flower buds forming compared to plants getting nothing extra at all. It's a mild boost, not a full feeding program, and it costs nothing beyond the coffee you're already making anyway. I said it earlier, and it's held up through every season since. Coffee grounds were never the fertilizer. They're the raw material. Skip the step where something breaks that material down first, whether that's a compost pile over months or a 24-hour soak in a jar, and you're not feeding the plant. You're just moving the same problem from the trash can to the flower bed. That one adjustment, giving the coffee time to become usable before the plant ever sees it, is the difference between a habit that helps and a habit that quietly works against you all season without you ever knowing it. If videos like this one, ones that test the popular advice instead of repeating it, are useful to you, subscribing helps more of them find their way to you. That jar by the coffee maker is going straight into the compost pile tonight, not the pepper bed. Give it the months it needs to become usable, and it'll do more for that plant than it ever could straight out of the pot.